So we know that you got Kijab and ACOT. It came from Canada, obviously, through the transfer portal.
Yeah.
But going on this trip, does that open new opportunities for recruiting, knowing you might be able to get another Kijab? Or
Well, I think that, the experience that those guys had here, I was over in Europe and the Canadian team was there, and those coaches are so grateful for the experience that especially Abu had here, that, and Eman too, but they're so grateful for the job that was done in those guys with their development and their experience here, and how much they love it here, and so yeah, that always helps. And then to be able to go back there, you never know. I mean, just getting out, more people will get exposed to our program, more countries, more, there's good players everywhere now.
Right.
So the more you can get out and about and show who we are and what we have and get to know us a little bit better, then I think it definitely helps you.
What's the biggest thing you hope to get out of these practices, these
Yeah.
games, that if you weren't going and you didn't get to do?
Well, I think, we went to Costa Rica that one year, and that was terrific. You look back on that, and we had a bunch of new guys that year, a bunch of young guys that hadn't played much and hadn't had any college experience. We had guys in new roles. So they just got a lot of bonding, a lot of experience as a team. And so I think it makes you push the envelope a little bit about getting, we always improve as the year goes on. Well, with these games that we have in November this year, if you wait and start making big advances in December, you miss maybe a lot of opportunities. And so, it's a long season, so it's a fine line between, you don't want to wear guys out, where it's a year-round season, but we're good at managing that in August and September, but we want to be ahead of where we have been maybe in November with some of these games we have in November. I think with 6 new guys, with a bunch of freshmen that haven't played much college or any college obviously, and then a bunch of guys that haven't been in the roles they're going to be in. It really helps you to get to see guys how they do in games.
You've had most of your guys on campus for the last month, and you've been back for a couple weeks. Anything stuck out to you, or improvements or developments that you?
Well, I think the first thing that jumped out at me was how close this team is already, and that's really special. We when you recruit guys, you think you know who they are, and you think you have a great handle on what they're going to do here, but getting to see the way they clicked and the high character guys we have, and the thing that jumps out at me the most too is what a difference we have in depth this year than what we had last year. And it's a nice mix because, I would say maybe some of our nucleus and top guys are a little older, and then we got a great group of younger, upcoming guys behind them, and that's what you want. And so that's been maybe the most exciting thing for me. And that's been the feedback that the players and the veterans have given me, is that this might be our tightest group from top to bottom as far as their relationships with each other and their understanding of their roles already, where that, now their basketball roles, that starts to develop as they start to figure out what their roles are going to be. So that hasn't been figured out, but just their roles on this team, how they fit in, has been maybe way past what we've had at this point.
Having depth is probably just having a much bigger puzzle for you to try and put. When you're watching these guys on the court, I know you're not putting together lineups yet, you haven't seen anything, but you're in your head just kind of playing with different matchups and seeing how things are
Yes, and that's what this tournament or this trip will be good for, is we can experiment with some things and do things that maybe I won't do in games, because you just feel the freedom to do it in this situation. I look back on our Costa Rican trip, our 2 NBA draft picks from that team both of them averaged about 18 minutes a game. So that's what I'll expect. Nobody's going to play 30 plus minutes, I don't think. And then we're going to try to play a lot of different people. But we go there to win and compete, and that doesn't change no matter what we're doing. Whether we're competing out here in the summer, it's competitive, and that's what we pride our program on. And the interesting thing for me has been, and this probably didn't happen this year, but I'd come into practice, and when we have the groups made up for that day of who's going to compete, and I'm like, okay, the blue team's probably for sure going to win today. They got this guy, this guy, this guy. And it's been the opposite almost every day. So that didn't happen before because you knew who your best were, and then there was maybe more of a drop off. Now, the best, the top guys seem to change from day to day, so that's a good sign. And not because the top guys are not playing good, it's because we've got a lot of guys that can do some things.
As you kind of bring in some new transfers, how do the leadership on the core team returning, how are they stepping up?
Great, because they lead in their own way and there are different ways, and we did a lot of leadership stuff last year with those guys, and some of those veterans, and now they're even in a bigger role. You know, Tyson's a junior now. Max is a, what is he? I don't know. I don't even know what you call him now. He's about a year away from Social Security. So same with Cam, and Cam's showed some leadership. And that's great because he's coming into a new program, but he's a seventh year guy, so that's exciting.
Scouting, I guess. How do you scout for this? I mean, obviously these are teams. Do you even bother?
I don't care much about that. Okay. That's the problem for later. And we practice that when we have our closed door scrimmages and that kind of thing, and teach them how we do scouting reports. And I want to spend the time on us completely. And we might give them a couple things, but we'll coach those games on the fly, and just almost like I told these guys, like, we don't have to have everything in. We can call a timeout and put something in and see how they figure that out. So yeah, I didn't want to get caught up in trying to get we got to.
Yeah.
I hope they don't zone us because we haven't practiced 1 second of zone, but like I said, we could do it on the fly if we had to.
Where are they in there? Are they in the summer like you are?
I don't know. I don't know their situation. I think they have less, because when we went to Costa Rica, we played a couple Canadian teams. They were really good. We lost the first game by 2 points, and then we beat them in what we called our championship game by like 25. So we got better as the trip went on, and so we just want outside competition, and that'll be exciting to have that.
We saw Roddy playing for Azerbaijan, I think, in a tournament, and I mean the stats he was putting up and some of the highlights were fantastic. What should, I guess, people expect most from him that he's gonna bring that maybe we haven't seen from the point guard for a while?
Well, Shave was an amazing athlete, and I think Roddy has that explosiveness. It's maybe even a little more dynamic. That's saying something because Shave was one of the most explosive athletes to ever play here, and so if you can, which we will, you're gonna get this high level athlete, and he's gonna get better and better and better as a point guard. Then you really got something.
With guys like the deeper rotation guys like Kobe and Jace last season, what do you want to see from them in this tournament?
Well, Kobe won't be playing. He's had some knee problems this summer, so we're going to hold him out of this, get him healthy for the fall. So that's a bummer because that was one that this is an important time to get some reps. And so like with RJ though, it's really important because he's been out. He hasn't played basketball for almost 3 years as far as games. So I'm excited to get him some reps. And then you got Andrew and you got Chris and Roddy and Omar and Cam as the new guys specifically that are probably going to be in the mix to play, and so hopefully we can get them a lot of reps.
You were super high on Andrew and Chris when they signed.
Yeah.
To get them on campus and see them around everyone, have they met your expectations?
Yeah, because the kind of kids they are and the work ethic. Andrew is out. We chart how many shots we get up in the summer, and he's beating everybody. And we got guys at work that are in a lot working their game, and that's guys like that get better. And Andrew, you're going to see in 6 months, it's going to be a lot better than the one we see now, and then 12 months and on and on. And there's a lot of things that remind me, like the stuff he does reminds me a little bit of Tyson as a freshman. So that's exciting.
On a trip like this, do you get any chance to do some stuff with the team outside of basketball?
That's important, and we're going to a great city. If you've never been to Vancouver, I haven't been there a ton, but when I went there, I was blown away. The neat thing about it is you feel like you're in Europe. You don't need to go all the way to Europe to go to this amazing city. It's just right up there, right past the 49th parallel, right? So it's exciting, and we'll take advantage of that and let our guys see some things and hopefully do some fun things together. And I think our guys are really excited to do it. And it does put a carrot at the end of summer, because I'm talking to other coaches and they're like, oh yeah, we're practicing today. When's your next game? Oh, 4 months from now. That's hard. These guys built for something that is right in front of them, and so they feel like there's a reward at the end of summer for, all right, you guys had a great hard work this summer. We got better. Now we get to go. This kind of carrot for it that makes you better. And it means so much to us to be able to do this. We've had boosters step up to help us with this, and otherwise we couldn't do this. And they help us with the transportation. That's huge. And then some others step up and help us financially for this trip. And it's going to mean a lot to these guys, and it'll be not only a basketball experience, but it'll be a lifelong experience that they'll never forget.
You mentioned chemistry obviously being big, is something that stood out to you early. Any inklings of what this team might look like on the court this season?
In what way?
Just, how they play together. Are they going to be a defensive team?
I think, our we hang our hat on that. That's defensive rebounding, and I think this team's got a chance to be really, really good offensively too. Maybe because we have so much more skill and a lot of smart guys that know how to play. So, we'll see. There's a lot of water under the bridge till then, but for summer, it checks the boxes right now. And I'd be a little concerned if it didn't. But I think it's hard to compare team to team to team. Each team's going to have its own identity, but I think the skill and man, do they play hard? And it's going to be so competitive to get on the floor that I think this will be. But all our teams have played really, really hard, so that's just a standard here. Getting Larry with the guy that has that much experience, it's just a great guy to have around, and he's got no ego. He's just here to help us and help the guys, and he takes care of Stella and Zara during practice, manages them. He says that's his main job. Just a guy with that amount of knowledge, we can bounce things off him, because no matter what happens, he's seen it, he's done it. So what a valuable asset to have a guy with that much knowledge. And just like I said, we don't need another chef. We've got a lot of great chefs here. In the veterans that we have with Mike and Tim and Bodo and Brad. Lex has been a great addition. He's just, you don't want to bring up somebody that's going to disrupt the kitchen. You want to bring somebody that's going to make the kitchen better.
How long have you known him for?
I've known him since the dawn of man, I think. It seems like. But we got to be really good friends when he came into the Mountain West. That's when we really started to become real good friends, because we'd go to these conference meetings and I'm like, I want to get to know that guy. He's really interesting and really smart, I could tell. And then when I got to play against his teams, I was like, they were one of the hardest teams to play and scout and prepare for and compete against. And a great example is we played them when Larry was the coach, and the rebounding was just toe to toe, and it was a fight. And, I think a month later, when he wasn't the coach at Colorado State, we beat them by 30, and we beat them by 25 on the boards. So it just shows you what the difference he made as a coach there. And so that gets your attention as a guy. You're like, man, I want to know what he knows. And our staff, we're always trying to find ways to get better. And it doesn't mean we revamp a bunch of things, but there's always things that we can improve on, and as coaches. And then when you're the head coach and you're trying to see everything, he can point out to me some of the maybe the little things that I've been emphasizing, but okay, this guy needs to maybe be that, and so he can coach me a little bit, and it's always right on with, okay, yeah, that was my message, I want to reinforce that. And so it's so valuable to have somebody with that much knowledge and that much experience. There's and that much wisdom. That's what you get when you get that much experience. So we're grateful to have him here, and it's been a great fit.
And then with boats, I'm guessing it took a level of commitment from administration and other
Yes.
people to make that happen.
No doubt.
But to see a guy who has kind of started with you almost at the bottom, being
Right.
Dobo, and working his way up, I mean, how cool is it to just see him kind of work the ladder?
And that's kind of what this program's built on. You know, I was looking at the old, our old player evals and that old trip that we went on in Costa Rica, and we got Justinian and Chandler played 18 minutes a game, and they both averaged 9 points a game on this trip, and both of them became draft picks. Chandler was the 5th leading scorer on that trip. 2 years later, he was the first round pick. So that's what our program's based on, and even with our staff. I mean, you look at our staff, every single person on the staff either played or coached in junior college, and we all have worked our way up and grinded, and we worked our way up because we got stuff done, not just because we got a break, and we achieved things and accomplished things. All these guys did to get moved up, and that's what David's done. No different. He's, like I said, every job I gave him when we were starting out sweeping the floor, he did it better than anybody else could do. And then that job moved up, and that's the story of everybody on our staff. And so you want to be able to reward guys like that, and you want to keep developing where there's not a ceiling where they have to go somewhere else to do it. And that's the beauty of what our administration has helped me with, is that I didn't have Lexus that position. I didn't have that position. I didn't have extra assistants. I didn't we were short-handed, and that meant all these other guys had to spread themselves thinner. Now they can do their jobs better because we have more support, and it's made a difference. It's not adding guys just to add guys or having extra guys. It's adding guys to make our program better as coaches, give more service to our players. There's other things that there's more things that have been created with all these new rules with the transfer portal and the NIL. And so there's more jobs to do around the department and around our basketball program. And if we can turn those jobs into and have the highest level guys doing them in our program, it makes your program way better. And that's what David, so the more responsibility you can give a guy like that, the better your program is.